All right. So, um, if you were watching earlier today, I made some molds, very similar to these ones, of a couple of dice and a marble for my wife. Um, and I put them in this pressure pot, and we set them to cure. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to release the pressure off this pressure pot, open it up, and pull the dice molds out. After that, we'll actually use some resin to cast some new dice, and hopefully we'll get a good set out of it. So I'm going to actually mute the mic because this is going to be kind of loud as I let the pressure out. Hey, Allison. Here we go. Now I should be able to take off the screws that hold the top on here. Hopefully, if things have gone well, we'll have a couple of molds set for us here. They were 6-hour molds, and I set them in at 2:30. It is 8:30 now, so this should be set. We'll find out in a moment here. So I apologize for my camera like focusing on me instead of on the pressure pot and all that. I'm not really sure how to fix that with these cameras. So let's take this off. And at least they all stood upright. So I'll set this down on the ground here. And so they're still in there. Ooh, they actually feel pretty good. I like that. They're nice and firm. Much better than the first set that I did. Let's take a look at this one. Hold on. We'll pull this one out first. Take this one. Yep, that one's nice and firm too. That's a good sign. All right, I'm going to move the pressure pot. I'll set that down on Mario's face over there. And let's take a look at the look at what we've got here. So here's the I'll move the camera down a little bit so you can see my workspace. All right. So this one here is Allison's marble she asked me to mold for her. So we'll take a look at this one because this is the ridiculous one. So if you weren't here for the first stream, I ran out of silicone and it was just covering the very top of the marble. And Allison suggested that I squeeze it a little bit to kind of make the silicone go up a little bit, and then we tape it up like this. And I mean, it seems to have worked. These do feel set. I'm happy about that. Let's see, I got a knife in here. There's one. I hope that's the saw blade. I need to go with the other one, the one with the knife blade. This one. Oh no, I think I squeezed it too hard. You can see the little black dot there? I think that's the glass. We might be able to do something with it. I don't know what. Let's so you can see there's the little dice I used as the sprue. and it does have a nice set to it, so that's good. Let's take the other ones out of their molds. Hey Tom, how you doing? I don't know how long ago you sent that, but I just noticed it. All right, let's see. All right, that one came out nice and clean. Hope if I actually use the sharp edge of the blade. The mold's made of a flexible porous rubber. Yeah, they're made out of a silicone rubber. Actually, these yellow and blue bottles right here are what they're made out of. This Umu 30 silicone rubber compound. It's a two-part, 1-to-1 silicone rubber. There we go. All right, so I've been told that this silicone tears really easily. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab another one of these cups, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the bottom off, which is actually like the top from where our mold is, and I'm gonna kind of, before I cut open the molds, I'm gonna put like a ring around it so that it doesn't tear all the way through. I think that might work. Oh, no. Gonna need another cup for that one. I think that might work for what I'm trying to do. We'll see, I guess. I just realized I might be cutting it a bit high because they didn't fill the whole cup all the way up to silicone. But I've got tons of these cups, so I'm not too worried about it. Let's see if that'll work. Yeah, that's a little bit too high there. But this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to kind of make like a band around it. The setting time for the silicone is 6 hours. I put this in the pressure pot at 2:30, and now it's 8:30. They're ready. So let me try this one more time. I'm gonna just cut off the very, very bottom of it here, and then we'll figure out if we need to cut it more. And I'll show you why I'm doing this in a little bit here. But what trying to do is create like some support for this so that when I open this, it doesn't just tear apart. See, what I'm trying to do here is on these molds, these pink ones that I made earlier, you see I've got to cut a line down it to get the original dice out. I don't want to cut the bottom off because it'll fit back together real nice and easy. So I'm going to put this little plastic cup over it because I think that'll kind of hold it so that I don't actually cut too far. And I think I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go grab an X-Acto knife, I think, because I think that's going to give me the best cut here. So I'll be right back. Hold on. And it'll only take me a second. All right, found my blade here. So let's give this a shot here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut down the side of this little die. I'm going to cut into here until I can feel the bottom of that little die, and then I'm going to cut down just a little bit further, just enough to get that larger die out of there. Do the same thing over on this side. Oop. Maybe a plastic cup isn't a good idea. We'll see what happens when I try to open this. This actually feels pretty good, this rubber here. So we'll see. Try not to tear it too much though. I think this stuff is better than the company thinks it is. So there's the little dice that I'm using as a sprue, and I still need to kind of cut some of the silicone because I didn't get it quite off the top here. So free up the die that's inside. I think this is my D6. This is going to be a hard one to take out. If I can get pliers in there and take it out. Might have to cut further down. Not what I wanted to have to do, but we'll do it. And oh no, I'm definitely scratching up these die when I do this. I'm using die from kind of a well, I bought a whole pound of die. The Chess X sells a pound of die, and so I'm using those as my masters in this case. They're not going to be sold, so I'm not worried about things like you know, copying their dice. I would never sell the Chess X ones, but there we go. We did get it out, and you know, I actually didn't get any scratches on this one, I don't think. So that's good. So this is the D6, and I'm just gonna take this marker here and write a 6 on it. It doesn't really write on it very well, but that way when I come back with something that will write on it, I'll know that that's the D6. All right, one more of these. Let's pull this one out. This one should be the percent dice. All right, I'll cut down this side as well. All right. Ooh, it's got like a suction cup bottom on it. So let's pull out the sprue. As long as it's weighted in your favor. Yeah, right. So I just noticing that, like, you know how the surface tension kind of pulls the like a liquid up the side of a cup. It's done that here, and so when I stick it to my table here, it's actually kind of hard to remove. It's kind of creating a suction cup. So let's see. Let's get in here and cut the little stranglers of silicone. They're kind of holding it together still. And I think that I can get in there and grab that now. This silicone is actually firmer than the pink stuff I was using before, which is a surprise to me. Just because of people saying that this was a really soft silicone, but this stuff seems pretty hard actually. There it is. There's the percent dice. So, and then, right, my marker. All right. I'm not actually going to use the blue ones for the cast today because I want to make sure that these ones are fully cured. They should be. They've been in there for 6 hours, which is the cure time for this. But these are also um, a tin-based silicone, and I've heard that tin-based ones can have some issues with resins. So I'm going to attempt to let these cure as much as possible so that they are mostly silicone as possible. I don't know if that's going to make a difference or not, but I'm going to give it the best chance. I guess some of them will mess with certain types of resins, and I don't want to do that. So these blue ones that I've made, or these purple ones, whatever color this is, these ones came out really well, it looks like. But I'm not going to use them right now. So instead, we're going to use these pink ones I made earlier. I made them... Oh, wait, I should bring out the glass here. Let's try that. This is a marble Allison made. It's glass, so I don't think that my knife will scratch it. But let's see if we can cut this guy open without ruining this mold. This one's really an experiment because we were running out of silicone when I actually made this one. So Allison wanted a mold that would be like round and marble shaped because that's what this is. So she gave me one of the marbles that she made out of glass to cast, and we'll see if that will come out okay. There we go. I have a slight suspicion I'm going to tear this mold apart because it's kind of thin, but we'll give it a shot. Ugh. Oh, it's so thin. Come on. There we go. We got it. Oh, and let's see if I can get this in the camera here. You can just see how smooth it is in there. That's the benefit of the pressure pot. There's a little tiny hole on this side. I don't know if there's a way that we could plug that up, but I think that's the only imperfection, and I think that's just because I squeezed the cup a little too hard. But we got an okay enough base, I think. So, all right. The blue molds are going over on the side here. Now we're going to switch from doing silicone casting to doing resin casting. So what I've got here are 2 bottles of art resin. You got the resin and the hardener here, and we're going to mix up equal parts of this, and then we will pour them into these pink silicone molds, and we'll see. Hopefully they'll come out. So before I start, I don't really want resin all over my desk, so I've got this cardboard here. We'll make a little space here. My desk is a mess right now. You're only seeing a small portion of it. I can't really move things around on the desk. All right. So I'm going to use these little cups here as like a measuring device. Off the screen here, I've got a light. I'm going to shine on it. Ooh, that's kind of bright for the camera. But I'm going to shine on it so I can kind of see through the cup here. And that way I can kind of make an even match of both the resin and the hardener. All right. The question is, how much do I use? You know what? I think I'm going to use this little cup. We tried to put a marble in here before, but this has actually got, well, if I do that, let's see. Let's just throw a bunch of die in here. Let's see, let's put the dice that so there's a 10-sider. Give me 1 second. I'm going to stand up and I want to know the brands, the resiliency, and the other details. We'll talk. Absolutely. Well, I showed you the silicone there. It was the Umu 30 made by Smooth On. And we're using this resin. It's called Art Resin. Whoop, that way. And I don't know. This isn't exactly the stuff that people recommend for dice making, but it's also not stuff people don't recommend. You know, like so we're experimenting. This is the kind of stuff that I was able to pick up at the craft stores around Phoenix here. So let's see. I got a 8-sided, a 10-sided, a 4-sided, and a 12. 20. So we don't really need much resin at all to make these things. So I'm just kind of doing this to give myself an idea of how much resin I'll need, and it doesn't look like much. It's filling this cup about halfway, and technically I only need a half of that to make it because we have 2 parts. But I'll probably fill it. I'll fill it a little more higher than I think I need, but just a bit. What we should also do, you know what? I thought I was gonna do these clear, but we also went out and we bought some pigments today. Let me grab one of those real quick. I'll just step away from my desk. That's good. All right, I'm back. Oh yeah, absolutely. Um, so we're also I went and grabbed some pigments. I bought this here. This is this Pearl X, and it's kind of an iridescent blue color. I'm sure that it's nearly impossible to pick up on the webcam here. Kind of just looks white. Um, but I'm going to be using this to kind of give the dice a little bit of a shine. And we'll see. I've got a few of these. These are alcohol inks, and we'll turn the light off until we're ready to use it there. These are alcohol inks, and I bought a handful of them. So I'm really interested in this amethyst color. It looks really cool at the store, and I think that this is what I'm going to use if I'm going to color these dice. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to color these just yet. I'm going to have to make a decision real quick here, though, because we're about to mix them. I'm also going to grab... I've got some extra long toothpicks that I'm going to use as like a stir stick. Okay, so I said that about half of this cup was probably as much as I needed for the dice. So I'm going to go a little less than half, but not a lot less, because I don't want to end up with not enough resin to finish this. So we're gonna mix them up. Okay, so the way this works is you pour in some of the resin here. We're gonna put that into one of these cups here, and I'm gonna turn my light on here. Blind everyone. Camera readjusts. All right, so I'm gonna pour some of this in. It's probably enough. I'm going to put a little bit more in. Wipe the top of the bottle clean. And put the cap back on. All right. That's probably too much resin, but... All right. Wow, this light thing is not actually working as well as I hoped it would. I guess I'm just going to try and eyeball it with the... So this is the hardener then. and we're going to put that in the other cup, and we're going to try and make these like almost exactly the same height here. Actually, I can kind of see this to get it at a certain angle here. Ooh, that's a little bit too much, actually. Let's just a bit back. That looks about right. All right, and then wipe the lid off on that one as well. All right. And since I've done less than half of the things, I think I'm just going to pour one into the other. I'll probably regret that because it'll probably be super full, but oh well. All right, we can turn the light off now. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to mix these two together. We're going to have to mix it for like 5 minutes here. I just found this popsicle stick. This will be perfect. So I'm gonna pour this one into this one, and then we're gonna mix it for 5 minutes, and we really want to make sure that these two are very much mixed together, and that there's no swirls or anything. So here it goes. Try and get all of it out of this cup and into the other one. That's pretty good. All right, so now I'm going to sit here and I'm going to stir this thing real hard for about 5 minutes, and really try and get these two pieces mixed together. If you don't do this right, then the resin will come out real tacky and sticky, and won't set properly. And so apparently this is one of the most important processes here, is to make sure that your resin is properly mixed. The other thing, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, you'll notice is that even right now as I mix it, it's getting a lot of bubbles in it. That's not great, but that's what we're going to be using the pressure pot for later here. It's trying to get rid of all these bubbles. Slow mixing? Am I supposed to be slow about this? Yeah, this is my first time doing this, so I don't know. Only one direction, slow mixing in one direction. See, Allison probably actually read the instructions on this, and I just jump right into stirring. Well, we've got a ton of bubbles, so let's hope that the pressure pot can do its job. And I'll slow mix for the next 5 minutes. It's got a ton of bubbles in it. As far as as water-based things, yeah, like the water-based ones can cause the resin to not set up properly, I guess, not to cure properly, and so well, thank you, Ad, for the host. I'm sure that everybody's very interested in me sitting here for 5 minutes slowly stirring a thing of epoxy, but hey, thank you for the host. Yeah, but as far as the water-based pigments, you can use them. One of the guys that's like really popular on YouTube for making dice uses those water-based food colorings, the ones that come in like the little teardrop shaped little droppers, all the Donkey Kong 64 bingo watchers moving to crafting, yeah. And right in the spot where I have to sit here and just slowly stir a little tiny cup for 5 minutes. But yeah, no, so the food coloring, he does use it, but he only uses like 1 or 2 drops, because he says that if any more than that happens, then the epoxy won't set up. People really recommend these alcohol inks for epoxy. that you can put a lot more of them in there before it'll cause any issue with the epoxy. And to be honest, they look really nice. Am I going too fast? Um, these alcohol inks really look nice. They're very translucent uh, and give you kind of a nice glassy look to them. So I'm hoping that they'll come out. I've also Allison tried it with some what do you call it, acrylic paints. I've got a whole rack of acrylic paints right over here, and she tried a few of them. I think that they turned out. So I guess that we haven't actually seen them fully cure yet. The resin does take 48 hours to cure, and 24 hours before you can demold it. So we'll see what happens. It looks like they're going to work. Yeah, she'll say, so she says she'll tell us tomorrow how those come out. Um, but um, looks like our dog trapped herself in our guest room. Ever since you told me to slow down, the bubbles have gotten smaller and thinner. So hopefully that's a good sign. Hopefully the pressure pot does its job because whew, I really mixed in some bubbles here. This might be a failed first attempt. But hey, you know what? It's all right. That's what we're doing these for. We're experimenting with them, and so Allison's saying that they started setting on her when she started to pour. Um, yeah, that's a problem. This has been 5 minutes here, so hopefully this has been long enough. The thing looks homogeneous, but it's really hard to tell since I mixed in a ton of bubbles. So go throw that popsicle stick in the trash. All right, I'm going to attempt this with a method I saw someone else do. So what he did was he tapes the mold together because it is split in half. So I'm gonna take some blue painter's tape and I'm gonna wrap it around. This is a D8 here. And what we're trying to do is just keep these kind of together here so they don't separate. Man, the tape will not stick to the mold though. I have to make it to stick to itself. The tape is bigger than the thing. Maybe I'll do what I tried to do before with this. I think I grabbed a pair of scissors. 1 second. So I know I'm probably should be working kind of quickly here to make sure that this doesn't set up on me while I'm working with it, but hey, whatever. All right, this is something I saw some other people do, is you kind of set a ring with the plastic around it here and kind of hold it. It's not working either. It's all an experiment, guys. Get a longer piece of tape. And let's wrap this thing. Yeah, well, we'll see if that works. If not, oh well. Hello. Ah, Allison found me some thinner tape. That might help. We'll do that with the next one. All right. All right. So then the method that the guy on YouTube likes to use is he takes 3 of these pipettes and he sticks them in the resin to let them kind of suck up some of the resin here. Probably should have started this before taping it. Oh well, I can tape another one while we're waiting for this to suck up here. And we'll use the thin tape this time. Ooh, camera got all fuzzy there. There we go. Long piece of tape this time. And this looks like the D4. All right. All right, so we're almost there with the pipettes. They're getting close. Grab the D20. That's a fun one to do. Long piece. That's a good point. We'll do the first dice clear. We'll add some color to the other ones. That way we can kind of see. Make this more of an experiment here. Oop. All right, so we've got one pipette filled here. So I'm going to take this first one that we did. I think this was the D8. And I'm just going to kind of stick the pipette down into that hole there. Trying not to completely cover the hole so that air can come out. We're just going to squeeze it down in there. All right, and we're going to set that back into the resin here. Oh, I should probably be wearing my gloves. My wife's always looking out for me. All right, probably should have been wearing these for a while now, but you know, so I was mixing it and stuff. Okay. Don't tell Allison. All right, here's a second pipette of this. We're just going to kind of fill this up until it comes out of the hole a little bit here. I know you guys can't probably see this very well, but I can. And I did leave a sprue on the top here, so I'm going to fill it up a little ways, probably a good ways, because I put a lot of air into here. So when the pressure pushes the air back down, it's going to need some resin to take up the slack here. So we'll fill up the sprue a little bit there so that when it pushes back down, it's nice and got enough space. So I expect it to compress quite a bit with how much air I left inside those. Okay, I'm going to push out the epoxy out of these pipettes so we can mix in some other stuff. So our D8 should be completely clear. We'll go with that. Now, what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to mix in some of this pearlescent... Where did I put it? My God, my desk is a mess. All right, here we go. I bought this stuff at the store. It looks really cool. Hey, look, I'll mix it slowly the next time I do this. I didn't know. I didn't read the instructions. How do I want to get some of this out? I guess I'll just take some, kind of use the toothpick to kind of help guide some of it out of the container here. Apparently we don't need a lot of this, so I'm going to put a little bit in here. That's probably more than enough. And then I'm going to use my little toothpick to kind of mix that in for a minute here. Ooh, wow, that looks really good. Oh man, I wish the camera could pick up the pearlescent, like the iridescence that it's picking up from this pearl powder here. It's hard to kind of get it to sink down though, which is something I need it to do. Probably put too much in. I'm realizing now that this is probably not going to be clear anymore because I put way too much in, I think. But I think it'll look good. That's this does have an awesome shine to it, and I'm very excited to make a set of dice that look like this. So um, I do think this will look good. Allison wants to come see, I think.
Screw it, I can look. I can just come in here. I have that ability. Show. Yeah, it does. This particular pearlescent is also a blue tinged one, so it goes from like a white to like a blue depending on how the light catches it. It's quite nice. So second offer on making you another batch just for a second color or something to play with. I just figured I could be mixing while you're doing stuff in here.
Oh, well, I've got more than enough resin to make the dice that I'm going to do today, so
cool.
I think we'll be good.
Awesome.
I'm going to mix this in. I'm going to maybe make 1 or 2 dice that are this pearl color, and then maybe I'll add some ink to it and see what happens there. Fortunately, this resin has a relatively long potting time, as long as it's at room temperature. Allison had a little bit of a had it start to set on her before when she heated it up, which is supposed to help get rid of the bubbles, but can also, cause it to set a little sooner. So, all right, I'm going to squeeze out the clear stuff that's in here, and we're going to put it back in here. Do the same thing again. We're going to suck up. I guess we only need 2 pipettes worth for one of these dye here. Oh man, this is going to look super cool, I think. I'm excited about this. I should probably... I have a habit of knocking containers over when they're on my desk, so I should probably put the caps back on these things. Oh. All right. So D4, I think we're gonna make that one the very shiny pearlescent look here. The hole in the sprue is a little bit small. I'm trying not to cover it up so that some air can come out while I'm pushing the epoxy resin in. Oh wow, that one. I guess the D4 uses a lot less resin than the whichever one I did last, D8 I think. Again, I'm going to fill the sprue almost all the way to the top, because I think I put way too many bubbles in this. Alright, there we go. Filled that one all the way to the top. What do you think? Should I make another one with this pearlescent, or should I start adding some color to these things? I think I'm going to make another one with this here. So this is... Ooh, do I want to do the D20 like that, or do I want to make the D20 with color? Tell me in the chat there. Somebody tell me which die should I make the second pearl one? Should it be the D10, the D12, or the D20? And And then which one should I add color to? Bottom half white, top half purple. That's an interesting idea. Half and half for the D20. Right. Let's do that. So I think this is the 20. Yeah. Okay. So I've already got one with the white pearlescent one. So we're gonna fill. Ooh, but I don't know. I can't see into there. I don't know when to stop with the. I mean, the D20 is gonna be the largest die of them all. So I'm gonna use the majority of this pipette, I think. All right, that'll be good. And then let's clean these pipettes out. Yeah, we'll just eyeball it. All right. I really like this amethyst color. They had it on like some drops of it on the display at the art shop. So I think that this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put one drop in, mix it around. If I like that, then we'll keep it. If not, I'll add another drop. I don't think we're gonna need more than like 2 drops, maybe 3. All right, there's 1 drop right there. And where did my toothpicks go? There they are. I already got this toothpick over here, all full of resin. Ooh, it's like bubbling when I put it in there. That's interesting. That's really kind of cool. It really brings out the iridescence in the pearl. It's sort of a blue color right now. It's not really purple. I think I'm gonna add another color. It's like a very light blue color right now. So I'm gonna add another drop of the purple here. These time lapses of people putting the alcohol ink in and just watching it settle. Do they look nice? Kind of fun. It's only bubbling up a little bit at the surface. It's not really like it's not like putting Mentos in a Diet Coke or something. It's interesting. Like it's very blue. It's not very violet. Like I would expect the amethyst color to be somewhat violet. Um, I don't know if that's something reacting with the resin or if it's just like they didn't put enough in, so the blue color's kind of coming out, or maybe it's interacting with the other pigments I have in there. Not sure. Oh man, it does look really cool. All right, I'm actually gonna keep that blue color. Um, I might add a couple more drops before I do uh, the other 2 dice, but I do like the way that looks, and I think that's gonna look really nice in the D20. So I'm gonna I'm gonna do that for the remainder of this D20 here. interesting though, because you can tell right here that the ink is very purple. So I know that I could make it this purple color if I put enough in. I don't know if I want to put that much ink into the resin though. It might cause it to not set very well. Oops. Jeez, it doesn't even look blue in the syringe. Or in the pipette here. Maybe I didn't mix it down far enough? No, I think it's just because it's kind of thin inside the syringe. Or in the, I keep saying syringe, it's a pipette. I think I need to add more color. Not sure how this is going to turn out for the D20, but hey, again, this is all an experiment, so we shall see what it looks like when it's finished curing. Yeah, right. Like the pipette is awfully thin, so it's very likely that I'm just not seeing the color because it's in the pipette. I'm gonna try and squeeze it in real slow so it doesn't mix with the other. All right, and all right, that sprue is filled all the way up. My God, that looks cool in there. Oh man, I wish the camera could show just how cool that looks. I mean, it looks like a pearl. Like, or maybe even like mother of pearl, like the inside of an oyster shell there or something. Um, that looks really cool. All right, I think I'm gonna add a few more drops of the ink though. And oop. Oh man, I got it all over the pipette. Probably should have taken the pipette out first. Oh well. Those are the kinds of noises you guys like to come for, right? Can't chain hearts. Oh. Alright, let's add another bit of ink in here. I think I want these other two to be a much more like defined color here. So these ones might not come out as well because I put a lot of ink in them, but we'll find out. It's all an experiment. Everything's a happy little accident that if we mess it all up. I'm probably coming close to its working time for these things, so we're gonna have to get them into the pressure chamber here in a minute. This epoxy has a 30-minute working time at 73 degrees Fahrenheit, so we've got to make sure we get it into the pressure chamber before then. And the pressure chamber is going to be what really helps us get all the bubbles out of it, which is going to be needed because I didn't read the instructions. You think I can add a lot of ink to this? It's interesting, it's still turning blue. Alright, I'm going to add, I think, 2 more drops to this. I really want this purple to come through. Or at the very least for it to be a nice solid blue color. I think that's all I'm going to add. Because I think that at this point I'll probably start adding too much, regardless of what other people say. It does feel like a lot. you guys can see that that's getting to be a nice rich blue color. Yeah, it's an alcohol ink, so the binder is an alcohol. Um, it might cause some problems with this. Again, this is all an experiment, so if I put too much in here and it doesn't set, then oh well. Alright. It does look very cool in here. And I can tell from the thin bits that are kind of getting stuck up on the side that the blue color is going to come through, I think. So let's do these things. We're going to put all three of them in because I expect that we are going to use the rest of this as this color. Alright, 45 minutes, so I still have a little bit of time. I think I started at about 25-30 minutes into the stream and we're at 58 minutes. So we got enough time to fill these two. Oh, I should probably... I'm going to take these off and put some tape on these other ones here. That is, if I can manage to wrap the tape without sticking the tape to my desk. All right. One more wrap around this thing. I don't know if you guys can see it at this point, but the pipettes do look blue at this point, so that's a good thing. That means we'll get a nice blue color in the finished product, I think. And you really can't get anything to stick to the silicone, though. It's really hard to wrap the tape for the first wrap around it because it just won't stick to the silicone. Once it sticks to itself, it's good. But yeah, I'm kind of pinching the tape up into these like little wings here. I don't know if you can see that. But that's just to kind of help. These cups are kind of cone shaped, so it's kind of help tighten it up right there. All right, put some gloves back on. That is the exact property we want from silicone. That's why we're putting epoxy in silicone instead of something else. Epoxy will stick to almost anything, except not very well to silicone. So, get these cheap vinyl gloves from the restaurant supply store. As far as I understand, using nitrile or latex, I'm not sure which one of the two, gloves when molding silicone is not a good idea because the silicone will actually eat it away. I did have these before this, but I decided to use these for the resin stuff because I was doing it with the silicone stuff earlier. And also, I'm not sure if we even have any nitrile gloves right now. I think we might have used them all up last time I was working on the car. one syringe down. Keep saying syringe. It's a pipette. Syringe is a different thing. Syringes have needles. Well, typically. They got plungers at the very least. Alright, let's see. Get all the air out of them. And then fill up the sprue. Ooh, that looks cool. I wish I could accurately show you the colors in this. Actually, that one's kind of coming through decently on the camera, but I mean, obviously the camera's not got a very good focus on it. But the colors look really cool. Alright, I think we got one last one to do here. Like I said, I did make too much epoxy resin here, but that's going to be alright. There we go. Fill up the sprue. Need a little bit more for the sprue. I really want to fill these sprues all the way up to the top just in case, because I mix so much air into them. Okay. Maybe I could ask Allison's help if she's still listening. Would you grab the air hose for me if you're still listening? I'm gonna get the pressure pot set up again. All right, so I'm gonna set these guys. No, I'm leaving it here. I'm gonna put my pressure pot on the floor over here. Here's the thing. I don't want to set it in a place that I'm going to like have to move it. So I think I'm going to leave it on the floor over here. It's just a spot that it can stay, I think. Put my set it back up on top. And thank you, Allison. So then we're just going to set each of these. Thank you. So this orange hose here is my my air compressor hose. It's the air compressor is in the garage. I've got the air compressor currently set to 60 psi because that is the maximum pressure that this pressure pot can take, and we don't want to explode it. So I'm going to set all of these dice molds into the pressure pot here. Keep them even here, try and keep them as level as I can. All right, and then I'm going to put this lid on the pressure pot. And I did the same thing in the other video. Flash the outline edges from the mold. Maybe I'm missing a few comments here. How much flash did you have to cut away from the final piece? I'm not sure. I didn't cut anything away from the final piece, the mold. The way I did the molding, the hole was pretty clean, actually. So nothing to cut away. Look, I know I said this before. I've got to make sure I keep the caps on my things here. I don't want purple ink all over my desk. That would be a tragedy. All right. So let's get this pressure pot going. So you kind of set it up on top here, and you bring the screw down till it's touching the metal, but no further. And you do the same thing on the opposite side. And you bring up the other sides, do that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tighten them down at the same time on opposite sides, so that the lid just kind of goes straight down instead of like being up on one side or the other. This will help keep the pressure in the pressure pot here. So we're going to turn these at the same time. There we go. Try not to move it too much. We don't want the molds inside to tip over. Alright, those two are nice and tight. I'm going to carefully turn it this way. I'm going to tighten these two down. I try and make them nice and tight because it's just a Harbor Freight pressure pot and doesn't exactly have the best seals on it. But I was able to get it to retain its pressure pretty decently the last few times I've used it here. So I just got to make sure I can make things nice and tight and even all the way around. Alright, I think that's about as tight as I'm going to get it with my hands here. So we'll go on to adding the air. So Allison brought me this orange hose here. This runs all the way to my garage on the other side of the house. And I've got the air compressor set to 60 psi right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on. We're going to pump it up to 45 psi. That's more than enough, from what I'm told, to take care of the bubbles in the resin. So I'm going to stick that on. Oop, I already have it open apparently. That's not great. I didn't want to fill it up too fast, but apparently I did. So, oops. Hopefully I didn't like knock one of the molds over doing that. Otherwise it'd be a big mess in there when it cures. Touch that. All right, got 45 psi of pressure in there, and we are going to leave that for 24 hours. We're not going to touch it for 24 hours. So I really hope I didn't knock over one of those molds when I put that air on there all of a sudden. That would be really bad. But that's it. That's it for right now. We're going to have to wait at least 24 hours to see if these come out, because it takes a while for a resin to set. And we'll see if my use of the pressure pot fixes my impossibly bad ability to stir resin properly or to read the instructions. We'll see. So that's all there is right now. We'll do another video tomorrow, probably tomorrow night. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't decided whether I'm going to actually undo them tomorrow. I'll probably take them out of the pressure pot tomorrow, but I'm not sure if I'm going to take them out of the molds tomorrow. Might be a good idea to let them cure a little bit longer. We'll see. So if we're doing it tomorrow, I'll stream tomorrow and we'll pull them out and see what they look like. I'm hoping we get some nice clear dice. But, you know, I did just mix it all up. So thanks for watching, guys. It's been an hour and 10 minutes here. So and we've got the final product in the pressure pot. So I'm hoping that we'll get something good. But we'll see you some later, guys. Thanks for watching.